discover the miracles that defied nature, and why they still speak to us centuries later. These are not just old stories. They are living reminders of hope, power, and faith. The Bible is more than history. It is full of moments when heaven touched earth, times when God moved in ways that defied human logic. These are miracles, acts of divine power that still amaze us today. Let's journey through 10 of them. Miracle number 1, the Red Sea parts. The night was dark. The Israelites stood trapped, an army charging from behind. The roaring sea before them. Mothers clutched their children. Men held trembling staffs. Fear burned in every heart. Moses lifted his rod toward the sea. At first, nothing, just the sound of the waves. But then the waters stirred. Winds howled, stronger and stronger. The sea itself began to tear apart, rising like 2 towering walls of liquid crystal. "Walk!" Moses shouted. The people stepped forward, their sandals crunching on dry seabed. Wide-eyed children touched the watery walls, seeing fish swim inches from their hands. When the last Israelite stepped onto the shore, the Egyptian army thundered in after them. But with final sweep of Moses' staff, the walls collapsed. The waters swallowed the soldiers. Silence returned. That night, the people learned, when no way exists, God makes one. Miracle number 2, manna in the desert. Days turned into weeks. The desert sun burned without mercy. Hunger gnawed at the Israelites until their complaints rose louder than their songs. "Did God bring us here to die?" they grumbled. Then one morning, as dawn spread its light, something new lay across the sand. Thin, white flakes, glistening like frost. Children picked them up, sniffed, and tasted. "It's sweet like honey." The people called it manna, bread from heaven. Every morning it appeared, enough for all, but only for that day. If someone tried to hoard it, it's spoiled by night. The lesson was simple. God provides daily bread. Not too much, not too little. Just enough. Miracle number 3, water from the rock. Another day, another complaint. This time, thirst. The desert was cruel, and no well could be found. The people's voices turned harsh. "Why bring us out here, Moses? To die with no water?" Moses prayed. God's answer came. "Strike the rock." He raised a staff, struck once, and suddenly cracks split open. From the impossible stone, water burst forth, pouring in streams and pools. The people rushed forward, cupping in their hands, splashing it on their faces. What seemed lifeless became life-giving. God turned stone into a spring. Miracle number 4, the walls of Jericho fall. Jericho's walls were terrifying. High, thick, unbreakable. Joshua and his soldiers stared at them, feeling small. But God gave strange instructions. March once around the city each day for 6 days. On the 7th day, march 7 times. Then shout. So they marched, silent, except for the sound of footsteps. Day after day, the people of Jericho mocked them from the walls. "Fools," they laughed. But on the 7th day, after the 7th march, the trumpets blared. Joshua raised his hand. "Shout!" The people roared, and the earth trembled. The walls cracked, then tumbled like sand. Dust filled the air. Jericho fell not by sword, but by obedience. Miracle number 5, Elijah calls down fire. The sun blazed hot on Mount Carmel. Hundreds of prophets of Baal danced wildly, cutting themselves, crying for their God to answer. But nothing happened. Then Elijah stepped forward calmly. He built an altar with 12 stones, placed a sacrifice, and drenched it with water until it overflowed. He lifted his eyes to heaven. "Lord, let it be known today that you are God." In an instant, fire fell from the sky, roaring, consuming everything. Stones cracked, Water vanished in steam. The sacrifice turned to ash. The crowd gasped and fell to the ground. The Lord, He is God. Miracle number 6. The widow's oil multiplies. A widow sat in her small, empty home. Only a single jar of oil remained. Creditors were coming to take her sons. Despair filled her heart. The prophet Elisha told her, "Gather as many empty jars as you can. Borrow from neighbors. Do not stop." She and her sons filled the house with jars. Then she tipped her tiny jar and began to pour. The oil flowed like a river. Jar after jar filled to the brim. Still it poured. "Another!" she cried. "There are no more, Mother." At that moment, the flow stopped. But every jar in the house stood full. Enough to pay every debt. Enough to start anew. God turned her nothing into more than enough. Miracle number 7. Daniel in the lion's den. The king's decree was cruel. Anyone who prayed to any god but him would be thrown into the lion's den. Daniel, faithful and unshaken, opened his window toward Jerusalem and prayed as always. Spies reported him. The king, though sad, could not undo his law. That night, Daniel was pushed into the pit. Lions prowled, their eyes glowing in the dark. Their roars echoed. But instead of claws, there was silence. An angel stood among them, radiant, and the lions laid down as gentle as lambs. At sunrise, Daniel was lifted out without a single scratch. God had shut the mouths of the lions. Miracle number 8. Jesus feeds the 5,000. A crowd stretched across the hillside. 5,000 men, not counting women and children. Their stomachs growled with hunger. The disciples panicked. "Send them away. There's no food." A boy stepped forward shyly, holding 5 loaves and 2 small fish. Jesus smiled, lifted the food toward heaven, and gave thanks. He broke it, handed it out, and the bread never ran out. Fish multiplied in the hands of the disciples. The people ate and ate until every heart was full. When it was over, 12 baskets of leftovers remained. From one boy's small gift, God fed thousands. Miracle number 9. Jesus walks on water. The storm raged on the sea. The disciples fought the waves, fear rising with every swell. Then, through the mist, they saw a figure walking calmly across the water. "It's a ghost!" they cried. But a familiar voice spoke. "Take courage. It is I. Don't be afraid." Peter's heart leapt. "Lord, if it's you, let me come to you." "Come." Peter stepped onto the water. His feet held firm. But when he saw the storm, doubt gripped him. He sank. "Lord, save me," he cried. At once, Jesus reached out, pulling him up. Together they walked back to the boat, and the storm stilled. Miracle number 10, the resurrection. The darkest moment of history. Jesus lay in the tomb, a heavy stone sealing the entrance. Soldiers stood guard. Hope seemed lost. But on the 3rd day, the earth shook. Light split the morning sky. The stone rolled away. Angels declared, "He is not here. He is risen." The tomb stood empty. Death was defeated. Life had won. The resurrection was not just a miracle. It was a beginning of eternal hope. 10 miracles. Each one broke the rules of nature. Each one whispered the same truth. God's power knows no limits. From seas parting to empty tombs, from hungry crowds to roaring lions, every story carries a message for us today. When you feel trapped, remember the Red Sea. When you feel empty, remember the widow's oil. When storms rise, remember Jesus on the water. And when fear whispers that death wins, remember the empty tomb. So tell me, out of these 10, which miracle amazes you the most? Which one do you long to see alive in your own life? Like, share, and subscribe to hear more stories of faith. And turn on the notification bell so you don't miss what's next. because the miracles of God are not over. They still amaze today.